So, just covering what I closed out of on the ETF short. So, the idea from the beginning with Bitcoin, when I started to, present this idea and add to these ETFs in these gold boxes, was that we were going to see Bitcoin come down to this 14,000, this 15,000 range if we broke the 17,000, which we did. And all along I've been saying I would sell out of these positions based on volume, either as support or the catalyst. So if it was a news-driven catalyst, as it was, being that FTX basically went bankrupt, um, then what you have is a news-driven catalyst, which would be a lot of volume. You would break support, and you would come down to this. I had said 16,000. I just put this trend line on here, but earlier it was at 16,000. And so that's what happened. We had a news-driven catalyst, and so I was in, as I talked about, these short positions, okay? But I did learn something interesting and worth taking note of for next time, because I'm going to continue to work with this idea. It's an outstanding way to do this. But I started to scale into this Bitcoin short back in July, okay? And so, unlike traditionally traded ETFs where they notify you of what's called a reverse split, in this case, KuCoin will do what they call rebalancing. And so, what happened here is I got caught, even though Bitcoin and my idea worked, since the ETF rebalanced with no notification. By the way, I'm still down 54% on that position. Now, you could complain about that, but I'm really not worried about it, because what I did was I executed a plan and a play based on this idea. I had talked about also that BNB would be caught up in this idea with something big being liquidated, and it turned out it was FTX. So, very interesting. Once you start to understand systemic risk, these things become obvious. Anyway, I closed out of a bunch of these. I hit ADA for 62%. So, from point of entry, I could have probably sold out here, done better, but, it is what it is. It's a long-term play. Let's see what else I hit. I know I hit Uni. 30% on Uni, no big deal. 142% on Axie, so 142% gain. That outpaces the stock market for 10 years. Adam, I'm still in this, and I wanted to hold one for more downside tomorrow, just in case. Link, I kind of got clapped on this right here. I'm waiting, but not a big deal. And then I think I have more of them, but I don't want to get hung up on it. And I know I hit ape. I closed out the ape play today, 206% gain on that play. So, pretty good, depending on what your risk tolerance is. And when people ask, like, how do you make money in crypto, and you go, well, I made 200% on shorting ape token. They have no idea what you're talking about. But I'll continue this idea. And what I learned was you got to keep an eye on this rebalancing. So in the future, when I do this, I got to be a little bit more careful about this idea. But all in all, it did work out for me. Coming into tomorrow, now that I'm closed out of that, basically what you have is CPI data, right? And if the CPI data comes in normal, then I'm looking for a retest here, and then upside for Bitcoin. All right, a lot could happen. CPI comes in high, I'm looking for further flush, and then maybe a break, a slower break. down to this 14,000 level. All right. So the main takeaway here is if CPI comes in normal or a little bit good, you're going to see a rally in the market. And with today's volatility, what you have is basically, even if you get a rally, so keep an eye on this right here. So if you get a rally out of the market tomorrow based on good CPI data, that's your line. This is the critical target. We're beneath it right now. But even if you get up to this 385, you want to watch where Bitcoin's at and how it's responding to this range. If the data comes in, some people might be caught off guard by this one, because I feel the sentiment right now is it's kind of be soft, or it's already priced in, and you could see a significant sell-off this week if this CPI comes in hot, right? The reason being is people are kind of sleeping on it. I pay attention to this stuff, and every CPI, everybody's hyped up. And on this one, they're just kind of sleeping. We had the midterms. People are feeling kind of settled. There was lower volatility this week. And, if I'm a market maker, this is when I snatch up, if this is when you pull the rug. I'm not saying it's going to happen, just saying it's something to pay attention to, is that CPI, and then watch how Bitcoin responds to that. Other things to watch over here, the SPX, that's just your cash settlement of the SPY. And so there are these ranges here that if they break, you want to really pay attention to these ranges here. If they break tomorrow, 3690, that's a range to watch. And then on the bonds here, what you want to do is, you see we got the gap. You still got this little gap here. You want to really pay attention to the bonds. You just had the shittiest bond auction compared to last month's shittiest bond auction. So that's something to pay attention to. So if you see the move on the SPY, maybe you're getting it by now. If the bonds don't cooperate, things come down on the bonds, but the SPY starts to pump, it's a short-lived kind of pump that you're going to see. The bonds need to cooperate in order for things to reverse. UNG, I'm still in that. I sold out of it, took some profit, and right now this was my entry, so down about 10% on that. But you can see, if we look at it a little closer, we are getting a higher low, and you're starting to see a new setup on a and like I had said, this is the new Bitcoin, and people are like, they don't feel me, they don't understand what I'm talking about. But look, you've got extreme volatility. So if you like volatility, you want to learn how to trade natural gas. Well, we're in an energy crisis, and we will be in an energy crisis for the for the foreseeable future. So learning how to trade this is important, right? So here you see this wedge, you see the break of the wedge right there, but you have higher high, higher high, higher high. You see me? So pay attention to that. And if we go back to the let's look at the right, see higher, higher, higher. See how that's working for you? So this play is working in your favor. So if you wanted to buy back into this, I would watch the market and see if you're going to get a sell-off tomorrow. And if you get selling, then let's say, if it comes flat down to 1849, that's a place where I might jump in on some of that, but I'm already in up here. So the other one I'm looking at for tomorrow is Tesla. And I did the video about, like, this is my entry, right? And if you go back and watch, you see I watched the close at the end of a day, and I talked about exactly what I mean, it's trading for you, dude. I went to, it was probably Monday, I was going to get on that, and what I was watching at the close was the SPX, and I knew that if we broke beneath this Wednesday, so that would have been Monday. So this was Monday, right? I was thinking of jumping in on Tesla, and then I saw this candle, I saw it coming down. If we didn't get a move to the upside, I didn't want to enter that play. And that's how you can save yourself a lot of money, is learning how to trade at close. And so I held off on that based just on that information. If it had gone the other way, then I would have jumped in on it, right? But I did not. I held off, and that saved me 13%. Okay, so if we're looking to buy Tesla and we're just average Joe traders, still having this skill to look at it and go, hey, that's a big difference at this point. Back here, who cares? You're maybe saving 3% on a long-term hold. You're not going to really notice that. But 13%, based on what I saw on a 15-minute candle, that's what I'm talking about. And, you're going to have to learn this stuff, but you can make money. And so, that's what I'm doing. So I'm looking to potentially, if the CPI data is not horrible, and things look neutral, I'm looking to kind of hit Tesla for something and maybe do one of these. It depends on the market, but if we kind of get something like that, even, I'd be happy. See how quickly it turns over to, you don't want to stay in too long, but maybe 10% out of Tesla would be cool. Amazon's starting to look pretty good, because what we have here, what I was waiting for on this one, we've seen this with Bitcoin, the retest, right? So if things are bottoming right now, as they very well may be, this may be a local low for Amazon, and then you might get this break, just like, look at it like a Bitcoin chart. You might get that break higher, right? And you're looking at just a little 5% move on the modest side, but it is Amazon, and if shit heats up and the market's going to rally, Amazon under $100, people are going to start to get real interested. If you look at this chart, you're seeing a low on some of these high quality stocks, and not to hold them long term, because later on I'll explain what after this when the recession hits, but we're not quite there yet as far as trading goes. Normal people are in a recession, but traders are not. We're not in the actual recession for trading. So yeah, man, I think that pretty much covers it. The other ones to watch that could be Grim Reapers. You got to keep your eye on the DXY, obviously. You got to keep your eye on the yen, obviously. What's going on here is, basically this can crush our bond market. If this starts to sell off again and gets ugly, and they got to sell more bonds, look out, man, because that can totally crush the bond market. The pound, look at that dog shit. Look at that piece of dog shit. Wouldn't want that as your currency. Look at that. This is with quantitative easing. Ugly. What a world. Futures right now, Nasdaq's getting kind of whacked. They got whacked earlier. 33. Let's see this one. Let's look at the. Yeah, I mean, this is setting up for CPI, so that critical target, you want to pay attention to these levels. So I'll put this level here. If I'm setting up for tomorrow, I'm looking for a break, of a small break, right? You see how this is tight in here? We start to break convincingly one of these directions, that's going to give you an idea of where the market's heading for the rest of the week. Gold opportunity will come with that. Silver's down. Yeah, man. So I think that covers it. Anyway, that's what I'll be watching for in the morning, and those are kind of the plays. And I'm glad to have wrapped up the ETF stuff. It was a successful idea, man, and I was the only person I know on YouTube to talk about it, to do it that way. I did learn a little bit here on what they call rebalancing. I had to go look it up on the website, because I was like, they got to have some disclosure You know, a normal ETF has to notify you, and they're going to say, hey, like, we're going to do a reverse split, which is no bueno. If you ever see that, get out of that. But yeah, man. Yeah, that's it, dude. Someday we're going to hit this hard, dude. Probably make $1,000 on these little crap coins. A day will come. All right, peace.